I can do it, you can do it. I was a massive carnivore. I mean, my family would laugh at me. I would have meat with meat, anytime I could. If I could have it for breakfast, even better. If I could then put cheese on top of it, even better still. And, I just didn't eat in a particularly healthy way. I had far too much reliance on processed foods and meats and dairy because I was busy and stressed at work. I had to grab things on the go a lot of the time, whether that was, a sandwich from a filling station or, takeaway on the way home from work late at night. And I made those poor choices 3 times a day for 31 years. But I can honestly say, hands on heart, and it was daunting. It was daunting for me to say overnight, right, I'm no longer going to have any dairy and I'm not going to take any meat. And I don't underestimate that is a big thing to do. But I can hand on heart say that 5 years later, if I did not have MS tomorrow, I would not go back to eating that way. I honestly wouldn't. I feel so much better for eating that way that I just don't need those things, and I don't crave them anymore. It's a really interesting thing when you go to a restaurant. I remember going to restaurants before COVID-19 happened. I used to go to restaurants, and when you look at a menu, you scan down it. It's almost like the Terminator. You go and the things that I know are not healthy, that I don't want to eat, they just remove themselves. And then I see the things that I do want to eat, and I say to myself, okay, I could eat that if it was slightly modified. I'm sure if I ask the chef nicely, they'll be able to facilitate that for me. And it really is not. It is not as difficult as people think it is. We know the psychology of change. There's a lot of work has been done on it. And if I could recommend one book to your followers, your listeners, it would be a book called Atomic Habits, by I think it's James Clear. It's an incredible book about the science of change. And we know on average it takes about 66 days to change your psychology. So if you can maintain something for 2 months, you're very, very unlikely to go back to your old ways. And even if you have a slip up one night and you accidentally can't resist, having some cheese or something, that doesn't affect your long term. It doesn't affect your chances of failure going forward. If you can maintain a habit on average for 66 days, perhaps even less than that, some people think, then you're very unlikely to go back. And as I said, I would not go back. I just wouldn't go back. If I was completely fit and well and cured of MS tomorrow, I would not do it, because I don't want it. I don't need it. I eat, every time my plate's in front of me now, it's colors, loads and loads of colors. It's not brown and beige anymore. It tastes incredible. You're exploring cuisine from all around the world, and you don't have to be a cordon bleu chef to do it. There's so many resources. It's never been an easier time to be plant-based because it's become quite cool, I suppose. And there's the sort of ulterior motive, and I don't mean that in a bad way, that for a lot of people it's about their responsibilities to the environment and to climate. And we know that can, eating in a plant-based way has a huge benefit in that regard. So it has become cool and more acceptable and more accessible. So it's a challenge, but it's certainly not insurmountable. And I think I can speak as an authority on that one because I completely lived the opposite to that 5 years ago. And I've been doing it all that time, and I love it. And yeah, I think it's easy. I don't think about it anymore. And it's just as you said, we need to get our heads around the fact that it's not a diet. A diet is something you do for a short-term goal. It's to lose that 6 pounds to fit into the dress for a wedding or to look good on the beach in the summer holidays. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. If you think of this as a diet, you will fail, because diets will fail because in our brains, we're programmed to think they're short-term, they're for a short-term goal. But there is no short-term goal here. The long-term goal is staying well, and therefore it has to be a lifestyle. And when you do that, and you just say, this is now the way that I eat, and this is the way that I behave, it takes care of itself, and it's easy. Honestly, it really is easy. And success breeds success. The better you feel, the less likely you are to want to go back to the way it was before. You do. I mean, I feel more energized, cleaner, fitter, stronger than I've ever felt. And it's not diet on its own that's done that. That's bringing us back to our original point. It's all the things together. It's a big jigsaw puzzle where the pieces need to fit. And hopefully the jigsaw at the end of it is a happy, smiling person who's living well with MS, which is what we all want in the end of the day anyway. And yeah, you're absolutely right. The rewards are maybe not immediate. You eat this way and you think this is tiring me out more. The first time I went to the store to get food to eat this way was exhausting. It was 3 hours of walking around looking at every label thinking, oh my God, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, da, 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 da. But like everything, we are creatures that are highly adaptable. This global pandemic is showing us that we can adapt, and we do adapt very quickly. And this is exactly the same when it comes to diet. Yes, the first time is hard, but now I can fly around the store, get all the things I need, and I don't need to look at which one's which, and you can do it on autopilot almost. And once you have made that change, as I said, it becomes incredibly easy to go forward from there. And the rewards are, as I said, not immediate, but the better you feel over time, the less inclined you're going to be to go back. So yes, you do have to think slightly long term about this. But that said, within certainly a matter of months of changing the way that I was living, I started to feel better. Fatigue was getting better. The dizziness and cognition problems I had were starting to improve slowly. And it's not an overnight fix. We know on average our work has shown us that the OMS lifestyle probably takes 3 to 5 years to have its full benefit. But the best victories are not easy won. This is, if you think about it, we're rebuilding our cells from the molecules up. It's like turning around an oil tanker. This is not going to happen overnight, and nor should it really. But the best way I found to deal with that was I kept a diary of my symptoms. And I scored them from sort of 1 to 10. So 10 was the worst ever and 1 was none at all. And over time, you look back week on week, month on month, you could see those numbers starting to go from 9s and 8s to 6s and 5s and 4s and 3s. And now most of them are 0. And I'm not completely symptom free, but I'm a million times better than I was 5 years ago.